Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing? Matthew, how's it going? All right. Don Yoakum, how are you today? Good. Okay.
Awesome, buddy. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Hey, Jeff Sutherland, how are you?
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we're letting everybody in. So today I'm super excited. We have America's coach, my coach, Coach Michael Burt. He's written 17 best-selling books. He's an author. He's a coach. And he's been helping me to reach my full potential. And that's his goal. And he's writing a new book that's coming out, Flip the Switch. So we get kind of an early debut of that. So Coach, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and let's rock and roll. Bring the heat.
All right. Well, good morning to you guys. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, so I'm a couple of hours ahead of you. It's about midday here in Nashville. And I write books because I'm fascinated by something. And one of the things I've been fascinated with from the time I was literally 15 years old was how to activate a wantingness inside of a person to reach their potential. And oddly enough, you would think everybody's interested in their potential. But statistics show us that 87% of people will live their entire lives and never find their talent, never locate their purpose. And large numbers of people, as much as 70 to 80% of people, get up and go to jobs that they're not excited about, their heart's not involved in. And all of this leaves us with a lack of motivation. So when I wrote the book, Flip the Switch, and I literally just turned it into my publisher, McGraw-Hill, this morning. It's taken me 2 years to write this book. What I really did is I broke down the top 20 motivational theories, and I deconstructed those theories. And all 20 theories basically say the same thing, guys. They say we move toward things we want. When we're hungry, we move toward food. When we're thirsty, we move toward water. When we're lonely, we move toward people. When we're broke, we move toward making money, right? But what happens? So the question becomes, why do people become complacent? Why do people gradually settle for an average life when they could have an extraordinary life? Why do they settle for doing 45 real estate deals when they could do 345 deals? Why do people lose their motivation? Right? And that's really the problem this book attacks. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down for you today why I think people lose their motivation and how to actually get your motivation back if you've lost it. How to activate. Just by a raise of hands, how many of you at some point have felt yourself becoming complacent in an area of your life? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of us have. So I want you to remember this: satisfied needs never motivate people, only unsatisfied needs. Actually, the enemy of a great life is a good life. I got a good house. I got good kids. I live in a good subdivision. I live there in Roseville, California, where there's no bugs and beautiful sunshine. And man, it seems hard to go reach my potential because I've got to exert energy and force. And I don't want to do that. So I just settle for a good life. And something comes along and tries to flip the switch or activate us to want a better life. So what activates this wantingness inside of you? And for me, it would be a new dream, a new goal, a new pursuit, a new purpose, a new interest that would activate something inside of me to want to exert energy and force towards something. Okay, so I want to give you the definition of prey drive, P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E. And prey drive is prevalent in animals. But the whole book is about how do you activate this drive in you. Now, in an animal, prey drive is the animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. It's a dog's ability to pursue, to go hunting. I believe in a human, it is the human's ability to see something with the eyes, optically, that you want. or in the mind, in the imagination, and to have the persistence and the intensity to pursue it. Okay. If I ask you why you wanted to do more real estate deals, what would you tell me? Is it because you want to take the money and buy a vacation home? Is it because you want to give a lot of money to charity? Is it because you want your kids to have a better life than you had? Is it because you like the finer things of life? What is it? What is a because goal that would motivate you to pick up the phone today and call somebody when you don't feel like it? Okay. What is a big reason that would get you to fight through your feelings when you don't feel like following up? What is it that both fascinates and motivates you that would cause you to want to take action today when you don't feel like taking action today? Okay. That's really the question we got to ask. And I call those because goals. Because goals are big reasons we do things, even when we don't feel like it. And I was thinking as I was writing this book this morning and finishing up what my because goals were. Because a coach believed in me when I was 6 years old, I made up my mind I was going to spend the rest of my life coaching people. Because I was raised by a single mom and we really didn't have a lot, I made up my mind that I would never, ever put my kids in a position not to have things in the future. Okay. Because I have young kids, I want to go somewhere and come home. I like flying private, so I can fly home and see my 2 kids with a third on the way. Now, here's my point. Because of these things, I'm willing to do things I don't want to do. I'm willing to follow up 7 to 15 touches. I'm willing to put deals together. I'm willing to prospect 2 hours a day. I'm willing to re-engage with past clients. I'm willing to see that my because goals activate my prey drive. You may say because I want to be number 1 in the world, right? I'm willing to do things other people ain't willing to do. But something has to come along and, to use the book's title, flip that switch in you that causes you to want to go out and pursue something. Now, what are you pursuing? Deals, opportunity, strategic partnerships, right? This is what you're pursuing. And you're creating, you're staying in creation mode. You're staying in creation mode. Okay. Now, so let's look at 5 things that I think would activate a person's prey drive. And if you struggle with motivation, if you personally struggle with motivation, being motivated, there's a couple things I want you to think about. Number 1, if you considered yourself being at A is your current position, B is your desired outcome. What does B look like to you? And does it motivate you? Okay, so let me show you on my board what I talk about here. Because I do this exercise all the time to find out why a person would want to do something. So if you see there, I've got A is my current position. B is where I'm trying to move to. B is a mental construct of my ideal life. Okay, and my ideal life is my passive income is greater than my living expenses. How many of you think that's a good B to have? My ideal life is I coach the people I want to coach, where I want to coach them, for the amount of money I want to coach. My ideal life is I get to spend X number of time per day with my kids. My ideal life is I'm not tired or exhausted. I stay in a rejuvenated state because I get time to replenish and rejuvenate. My ideal life is I fly private everywhere I go because I travel so much. Okay. Now, if I put that down as my B, what would drive that life? So then I start getting more granular. I need my company to do 10 million a year in revenue. I need passive income investments that produce over 500,000 to $1 million a year in passive income. Okay. I need to structure and restructure my schedule so I have enough time with my kids that I feel good about. See, if that is my ideal life, the question comes in, okay, how do I go get that life? How do I stay motivated enough to go get it? And where does the money come from to support it? And this is really where the prey drive comes in. So I set a target of 25,000 a day minimum of sales in my company. Okay. And I do the math, 25,000 a day times 5 is 125 a week times 4 is 500,000 a month times 12 is 6 million a year. And that is my baseline number. Okay. And then everything I do from A to B is to get to that number every day. Now, this is where the prey drive comes in. So what if I woke up this morning, Tom, and I said, well, I'm tired and I don't feel like making sales calls, and man, I don't feel like following up with people, and I don't feel like engaging. I don't feel like doing a Facebook post, and I don't feel like doing this. How many of y'all wake up and feel like that sometimes? Yeah. Okay. This is where the because goal comes in. But because I'm pushing toward my B, because my desire to have B is greater than my desire to stay where I am, because, right, I go, you know what? I need to change my energy. I need to get into the gym. I need to change my state. I need to pick up the phone. I need to take an action. I need to follow up on a person. I need to close a deal, right? And I need to get this prey drive activated so I can go pursue today. Okay. Now, I've been coaching real estate agents since 08. So over the last, whatever that is, 12, 15 years. And I've coached agents that are doing 35 deals a year, all the way up to agents doing 500 deals a year. And I began trying to figure out what is your B and what would activate your prey drive. So I'm going to give you 5 things that will activate your prey drive. And my ultimate goal with this book is to get you to be able to do it for yourself. To get you to be able to do it for yourself. Okay. Number 1, I think, which is the greatest activator of prey drive, is fear. It's fear. I used to believe, Tom, that real emotion came from passion, like our passion came from emotion or emotion came from passion. And then I figured something out. Real emotion comes from conflict. Real emotion comes when you really been screwed over good. Real emotion comes when you feel rejected by somebody. Real emotion comes from when you're afraid of losing everything. You with me? Yesterday, right in the middle of my coaching session, I lost a $50,000 deal. And a guy committed to it. And then he didn't like something I said on a video, and then he backed out, and it infuriated me. And what it infuriated me to do is go out and find 50,000. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and make 100,000 today just to show you that I don't need your business. Okay. And I said, I want to thank you for backing out of this deal, because what you really did to a guy like me is activate my prey drive. And when my prey drive is activated, I'll go double the number just to show you that I didn't need you. Right. See, I use that. See, the old me would have got mad, frustrated, whined about it, complained about it, blamed somebody about it. The new me said, you know what? Maybe I needed that. Maybe I needed that to find another gear today. Maybe I needed that to go find 50 grand today. Maybe I needed, because I go only where I feel celebrated, not where I feel tolerated. Okay. And the minute I feel tolerated by somebody versus celebrated by somebody, I'm out. So I told him, I said, look, this is going to end our relationship for good. We're done. Don't call me. Don't ask me to coach your people. Don't come back to me a year later and say you made a mistake, because I don't back out of things I commit to, man. And I said, thank you, though, because I understand prey drive. And what you did for me was the best thing anybody could have ever done today. You activated my prey drive. Now, how many of you, when you have a little sense of rejection, or that you're not good enough, or somebody tries to put you in a supplicated position, you come out fighting? And it's actually a good thing for you, right? Because it gets gets that motivation going. Well, when I study prey drive, one of the number one things that activate prey drive is fear and competition. Okay. So when I broke fear down in the book, I said you could have a fear of rejection, and that sense of rejection motivates you, right? It's nothing like somebody telling you you're not good enough, or you'll never be somebody in the world, or you're not smart enough, or good looking enough, or whatever they tell you. Okay. Instead of allowing that to debilitate you or disable you, I want you to learn to convert that feeling to an action. And I want you to use that emotion. Okay. And I want you to convert that emotion to motivation, because that's really what I did. I'm like, all right, this is good, man. Let's go find some money. Let's go help some folks today. We don't need him. My little sales guy was all frustrated about it and nervous about it because he lost, $5,000 or $6,000 commission. I said, you don't need him. 7 billion people on planet Earth. You don't want to work with people who don't value you, man. Let's go find somebody who celebrates us. Okay. Now, so number one is fear. Fear can activate your prey drive. Okay. Right now, I coach a lot of mortgage originators. They're all freaking out because rates have gone up. Demand has gone down. They're having a hard time getting deals together. I said, man, let this motivate you to make more phone calls, to engage with people. Okay. So fear is one, competition is two. Competition will activate your prey drive. How many of you are really motivated by competing, by being in the arena and competing? Yeah. See, I was a basketball coach, and man, I always had a nemesis, and the nemesis made me better. Somebody I couldn't figure out how to beat, for a long time. And I used to stay up at night just thinking about strategies and angles, and I like the competition. Last week I was speaking on a stage where it was me and Ed Milet and Jesse Itzler and Tim Tebow. Those are the 4 main speakers at the conference. And I love that because it's Milet one day, Itzler one day, Tebow one day, Coach Burt one day. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna hold my own versus these boys. Like, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a competition, right? Like let it bring the best out of you. Okay. So number 2, competition activates your prey drive. All right. Number 3, environment can activate prey drive. I do a lot of work with Nick Saban's psychologist, Kevin Elko. And I said, man, how does he build Alabama into this powerhouse? And you know what he said? 4 words: identity, standards, language, accountability. Our identity is this. Our identity is we're the best. We're the best in the world. This is how we act. This is how we perform. This is how we show up. That's our identity. We're the best. Okay. Do you know that all the greats have formed of identity of themselves that other people can't break? All empires were started by one person, typically protected by one person. Saban, Jordan, Brady, right? They were started and protected by one person. Somebody's guarding the empire, the standards of the empire, the language, the accountability of the empire. The greats have a concept of themselves that cannot be broken. The ones that are not great, man, they can be broken by anything. They can be broken by a person don't like them on Facebook. They can be broken by a deal that fell apart. They can be broken. The greats have a concept of themselves, man. So when I met with my team this morning, I reminded them we're the best at what we do in the world. Ain't nobody breaking us. Ain't nobody breaking us. I'm trying to get these are grown men. I'm trying to keep focused because, they get a little shaky every now and then because of one deal falling apart. I'm like, man, forget it. Move on. The greats have a concept of themselves that can't be broken. One deal never breaks them. Okay. You should be mad you don't have one big deal you're working right now. That's what I told them. All right. So number 3 is environment. And environment is what y'all are creating here, right? Atomic habits. You're doing the great things. You're coming together. Okay. People feel confused. They have isolation. They feel powerlessness, right, Tom? That's what I'm coaching Tom on. They feel isolated. You know what overcomes isolation? Connection. Connection overcomes isolation. Okay. Connection overcomes isolation, guys. Now, when you're thinking about this, what kind of environment have you created? Do you have standards? Is there accountability? Is somebody pushing you? Okay. Number 4, exposure is an activator of prey drive. And what we're looking for is what activates the prey drive, what flips the switch, right? What flips the switch is, man, when I'm around something that makes me think bigger. Okay. I'm going to give Mylette credit. Mylette was as good as I've ever seen him last week in Texas. His father just passed away, and he's got a new book out called The Power of One More. And he took the talk and brought it down to just the last breath that his father took before he died. And he told these powerful stories, man. And it was very impactful. And I texted him afterward and I said, man, that moved people. That was incredible. Right. And exposure to a guy worth $500 million that just bought his own island, that's completely debt free. If that doesn't make you think bigger, nothing will. Right? Just exposure to the way the guy thinks. This is why it's important that you get around people doing bigger things than you constantly. And you get in the ecosystem. You're exposed to something. Your mind never goes back to its original dimension because you've seen it. Right? You think bigger. And finally, the fifth activator of prey drive is embarrassment. And embarrassment is, how many of you think you could be playing at a much higher level than what you're currently playing at? Yeah, all of us. All of us should be raising our hand. And the gap between where we are and where we think we're capable of doing sometimes should motivate us. The results we're currently getting versus the results. I started coaching a real estate agent 7 years ago, doing 35 deals a year, and he was a complete mess. He goofed off all the time. He partied too much. He wouldn't stay focused. He was doing 35 deals a year. He was living at home with his mother at 35. And he was embarrassed. And I started coaching him. I said, man, it's time for you to leave your amateur desires behind and go pro. I think you got the talent. I think you got the potential. You're a former football player. But, man, you are so underperforming in relationship to what you're capable of doing that it is time for you to grow up and do what you're capable of doing. And I want you to use this embarrassment to become the man you're supposed to be. He went from 35 deals to 300. He's doing 300 deals a year now. He expanded his team to 25. He's coaching young men from 18 to 22 that are a mess in their life with no direction. Some of those young men are making $150,000 a year selling real estate. He's now found his purpose, and he went from number 43 in his market to number 1 in his market, the number 1 agent in his market. And in the I think the 12th fastest growing city in the United States. Now, what happened to him is he got so embarrassed that his prey drive was finally activated. And it was activated to a point that now it is so on fire that the dude is hungry and it's insatiable. And he's now coaching and mentoring and leading other people. And he went from kind of a goof off doing 35 deals to the number 1 guy in the market doing 300 deals. And that is because his prey drive was activated. So when you step back today and you ask yourself, what does it for me? Which of these activate? I know what activates mine, man. A good competition activates mine. A sense of rejection activates mine. Somebody thinking I'm not good enough activates mine. And when it's activated, it is on go because I push. Okay. Now, what most people do when they have fear is they contract to places of comfort. And I've even noticed this on some of the people on my team. When they get under pressure, they crack. They don't know how to fight through that pressure when pressure really is a privilege. It is through the pressure that really activates something deep inside of you that you really need to find that new gear. So that's really what the book's about, Tom. It's about how do you activate this switch inside of you to become what you're capable of becoming and utilize all of things that come along externally in life to activate that drive. Okay. Things that would normally debilitate people. I'm going to show you in the book how to use the fuel, how to use the fear as fuel, how to convert, how to get to a freakish level, right? That's really the subtitle, how to get to a freakish level of success, right? Anybody have any questions about this?
Any questions, anyone? Well, I love the fact I heard you mention Monday that whenever we get stuck or we get down, just take action, take massive action. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit down and blue Monday morning. And then I heard your 10:30 call, and you just said, hey, when you get down, you get blue, whatever, just take action, just take massive action. So I appreciate that. Thanks. What other comments or questions do y'all have?
I've never gone wrong, guys. When I was in a funk, I know what will not get you out of a funk, and that is whining, pouting, blaming, spending time talking about it. That's what, yeah, go ahead.
A lot of these, Tony Robbins has that saying about, you're going to be motivated by avoidance of pain or seeking pleasure.
Yep.
And the majority of the prey drive motivators are kind of fear-based, you could almost say negative-based, avoiding the pain category. I suppose you could say that environment, though, could be a positive one. You're surrounding yourself, you're, kind of the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with.
Yep.
But do you just find that the fear-based triggers are stronger than the positive ones?
Well, I think you bring up a great point. Let's redefine fear. The definition of fear is typically a negative emotion created by a belief that something could harm me in the future. All right. Now, somebody came up with that definition. All right. And we accepted it. What if I said, I'm not accepting that premise, and I said fear is a positive emotion, and it is absolutely necessary to activate something inside of you to play at a higher level? Could fear be positive versus negative if we looked at it that way?
Sure.
Now, to your point, it was really Freud. Robbins kind of borrowed that from Freud. Freud had the pain pleasure principle. I write about that in the book. But here's what I found. The brain operates, I wish the brain operated toward potential. If I say, guys, if you just do these things, man, you'll go out and get 300 deals, you make more money, you'll have a better life. I wish, I've been doing this 30 years. I wish as a coach that people would be motivated more from potential personally than pain. But the brain focuses 3 times more on negative than it does on positive because of its survival mechanisms. So it actually takes that fear, sometimes a negative, to convert, right? It's like you're more motivated when you're under fear, duress, and stress than you are when things are good. Okay. The truth is, I just hired a new trainer, and I hired a trainer because I've been going to the gym and I'm comfortable and I'm in decent shape. But I really got embarrassed by saying, you know what? I should be in much better shape than this. The embarrassment drove me to call the trainer to embrace the suck he's going to put me through to get more defined. Because I could have just stayed where I'm at and go, you know what? I'm good, man. I'm at good weight. I feel good. I look good. But it was really the embarrassment, the pain of embarrassment that said, you know what? I can do better than this, man. So to your point, I don't attach a positive or negative to these. Environment can be positive. Exposure can be positive. Fear can be positive if we look at it that way. But I do think for some reason, the way we're wired is we are wired to operate away from pain more than we are toward potential. I just think it's somehow human nature.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that is important that we keep in mind in our attraction activities, is that we want to make sure that we really get to understanding their pain. And we talk a lot about having the option of being able to one day step off that treadmill, because
Yep.
As a realtor, that's what we do. We bought a ticket to a high-speed treadmill.
Yep.
And it becomes painful at some point.
Well,
Right.
to your point, I 100% agree. The reason a person would leave one brokerage and go to another typically is because of a pain point. And the pain point is, I don't get support from my broker. I don't have a dynamic community. I don't have any residual income. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of this. Right. And that pain point becomes great enough. It's like, all right, I'm going to go looking for something to solve this problem for me. Right. And that's why I think when you're attracting people, I wish I could go out and sell my coaching programs by saying, hey man, come to me and you'll make more money and you'll have a better life. But that's typically not why people sign up. They sign up because they're frustrated and they go, I'm so sick of underperforming. I'm going to hire this coach and I'm going to get serious about my deal. Right. And I wish, even when I market, to your point, Don, a lot of times I have to market from a pain point versus market it from the potential, because people won't take action on the potential. If that's the case, potential, everybody would join EXP. It'd be so simple. Why wouldn't you do it? Like, it just doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't do it. But they don't. Why? Because of some kind of fear they have. So this, I just want you guys to know the book will be out in January. It's taken me 2 years to write. It's almost, almost killed me writing this book. But it'll be worth it, I think, when it comes out. And I'm really excited because it's kind of my life's work. It's my life's work to the world. So
Well,
I know you guys have got to bounce. So thank you so much.
We're excited. Thanks, Coach. So speaking of environment, we've got Build Conference in Dallas with Tony Robbins, with a lot of big people that we can join in with. Invite others. We'll put a link in here. Make sure you guys attend. Invite others. It's going to be huge. So thanks, Coach. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone. Now you got your inspiration. Time to put in a perspiration. Let's go pro. Thanks,
That's right.
guys.
Thanks, Coach.
See ya.
Thanks, Coach.